there's nothing wrong. We have two of the most beautiful people in People magazine. Aww. You're in here also. Most beautiful. Now,
that bird was.
Is that your bird?
It was temperamental.
It's a cockatoo.
Yeah.
Or something.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
And it was not your bird?
No, not my cockatoo.
No. Oh, there's so many jokes there. There's so many jokes that I'll leave alone. Yep. So let's talk about you being a mentor on Idol. That was you did such a great job on that. You really did. And how did you feel about it? Was it weird for you to go back and do that?
Well, when they asked me, I was like, really? I didn't expect it because, I'm only a year into my career.
Right.
But it was cool because I think I gave them maybe, perspective, like I've been in your shoes kind of a thing, and they were all really nice. They have good energy, they're great singers, so it was a really fun experience.
And were you, when you were there, was it good feelings or was it like, oh, thank God I'm out of this because it's so much pressure?
I felt a little pressure towards the finale at the very end, but to be honest, and now going into my career, this is a lot more work than that was. Being a recording artist and touring and promo, all that stuff, visiting radio stations, I'm having a blast, but it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Idol, I was singing 1 day a week.
Right.
And now it's a lot more performing, which is great. But I look back on it and I'm kind of like, wow, things were almost easier then. Yeah. Even though there was a little more pressure, it was kind of in a bubble. You're kind of protected. Yeah.
I think people don't understand. It is a crash course, I mean, even though you had done theater and done other things. But, and then also I think people mistake us for like, well, once I get past the judges, it's like you're always judged, as you know now. You went through that firestorm that kind of happened to you. With the American Music Awards?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And how do you feel coming out of that? Because I think you're obviously doing very, very well. You're hugely successful. Your album is doing well. I love your music. You're an amazing performer. But when you were, right? I mean, name somebody else like him right now. You're in a league of your own. You have such great talent and charisma on stage and put on shows that are just so unique. And how do you feel coming out of all of that controversy? I
mean, I think the dust has settled for the most part. And, it's been really interesting because I've been doing a lot of promo overseas, internationally. The album's all being released all over the world, and it's doing very well. And a lot of the interviewers that I talk to will say, like, well, what was the big deal? And I'm like, well, it's different here than it is there. So I think it's just, certain conservative, outlooks look at that performance a different way than certain liberal outlooks. So, it's either like it or you don't.
Right.
And it was one performance, like we've talked about. It doesn't define me as an artist. It was one thing.
I've seen you many times, and there's been nothing like that. So, you're different in different scenarios, right?
Yeah. And the song always interprets the type of performance I do. I mean, what I love about the song that I'm going to do for you in a little while, If I Had You, is that it's uplifting, it's positive, it's about connection and love, and it's talking about how fame and fortune and all the material things that come with this lifestyle don't mean anything if you don't have that love and that connection. And I think it's such an awesome message to put out into the world.
It is. And I think a lot of people get lost and forget that message, and it's so true, because that's all that matters.